What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Dreamer here, and today I want to show off one of my favorite last Epoch builds. It's powerful, it's goofy, it only needs 2 unique items to get going. It's the deadly Squirrel Beastmaster. Here's the order. First, we're going to look at passives. Second, we're going to look at our skill trees. Third, we're going to look at our gear, idols, and general stats that we want. And then at the end, I'm just going to throw on any other thoughts that I think are important. As always, there will be a link to the build and a loot filter in the description below. Alright, starting out in the Primalist passive tree, we're going to get 8 points into Primal Strength for some extra strength and health regen. We're going to put 5 points into Hunter's Restoration for increased health and extra health every 3 seconds when we hit. 6 points into Survival of the Pack for increased melee damage and leech for both us and our pets. 1 point in Hunter's Emanation. This is going to give the effects of Hunter's Restoration to our pets so they can heal a little better. And then 5 points into Cornered Beast for a little extra damage mitigation in case we ever get low on health. Over in the Shaman tree, we're going to put 5 points into Sky Warrior for increased shared damage for us and our minions, plus cooldown reduction for Fury Leap, which is going to be our traversal skill. In the Druid passive tree, we're going to put 5 points into Chitinous Plating for some extra endurance and armor for us and our minions. Alright, the big one, the Beastmaster tree. We're going to start out with 8 points in Ursine Strength for reduced damage taken from nearby enemies and extra strength. We're going to be fighting in the packs of enemies with our minions. We're going to get a point in Savagery to open up this path and get a little extra melee damage. We're going to put a point in Ambush to get Aspect of the Shark every 5 seconds when we hit. We're going to put a point into Lamprey Teeth to get some extra leech for us and our minions. 4 points into Boar Heart so we get Aspect of the Boar when we get hit. This will reduce damage taken while we have that. We're going to put a point into Rending Maw. This will give Aspect of the Shark a armor shred. 7 points into the Chase. I really like this one because it gives attack speed and movement speed and companion revive if you need it. 5 points into Natural Fortitude for some strength, health regen for us and our minions. And 1 point into Hunters of the Deep. This is going to increase the Aspect of the Shark duration and give it to our minions. We're going to put 5 points into Axe and Claw for some extra melee damage for us and our squirrels. A point into Life in the Wilderness for some increased vitality and endurance threshold. Plus this is going to make all our endurance apply to our minions. Really useful for keeping them alive. 5 points into Porcine Constitution. This is going to add some damage reduction and health regeneration to Aspect of the Boar and give us a chance to get it on melee hit, not just when being hit ourselves. 5 points into the Cry of the Lynx to give us Aspect of the Lynx when we use a companion ability. This is going to increase critical strike chance a ton. We're also going to take 10 points into Viper Fangs for the extra melee attack speed for us and our minions. We're not so concerned with the Aspect of the Viper addition. 1 point into Nature's Embrace to get some extra companions. 6 points into Serrated Claws for extra critical damage for us and our minions. And then Ancient Might, we're going to put 10 points for some extra melee damage and strength. Now all these points aren't hard and fast, and you can mix and match them a little bit to suit your needs better if you need to. So don't be afraid to experiment and change things up a little bit. Moving on to our skill trees, obviously we're going to take Summon Wolf. And over here on the left, we're going to get 2 points into Savage Hunters for some extra damage. A point into Legendary Bite. This is going to sacrifice a little bit of attack speed, but give us a ton of extra damage and crit chance. We're going to put 3 points into Tundra Stalkers. It's going to give us cold damage and stun chance. We're using it to get over here to Winterborn. And then Pack Hunters. This is going to give us extra companions and extra wolves. And remember, every extra wolf we get turns into 2 squirrels. On the other side here, we're going to take On the Hunt for some extra attack and move speed, 5 points. 1 point into Howl of Might to give us more damage and dodge rating when we howl. we're going to get a point into safety in numbers so we can make all our companions wolves and therefore squirrels. And then we're going to get a point into canine agility for some dodge rating. 4 points into serrated claws for bleed chance. 4 points into patient hunter for extra damage from bleed. And then a point into crippling wounds for some extra bleed duration and slow. For our character's main attack spell, we're going to use Swipe. We're going to get 5 points into Way of the Hunt for some extra damage and health leech. A point into Wengarian Reach to make it a little bit bigger. And then 2 points into Culling. This is going to kill anything that you hit that has less than 14% health. And that includes bosses. And then down here we're going to take the very important aspect of the Panther, 3 points. And then 3 points into Wild Calling. So every time you hit something with Swipe, all your squirrels are going to shoot out a Ghost Wolf and do extra damage. Then we're also going to get a point into Feline Hunter. This is going to give extra attack speed and cast speed. 2 points down here in Blood Beast. This is going to give extra bleed for our attacks. Rending will give us some physical shred. And then I'd actually take these 3 points out of here and put 2 into Lion Strength and 1 into Sabertooth's Endurance. I don't know why I have this here. I think I was running out of mana a little bit earlier, but don't be like me. 2 points here, 1 point there. Fury Leap is going to be our traversal skill, but it also is a buff spell. So we're going to get 5 points into Warrior's Entrance so that we get extra damage when we land from leaping. A point into Frenzied Onslaught so that we get some extra attack speed when we land. 3 points into Wings of Endurance so that we get some health when we land. And then a point into Battle Bloom to cleanse debuffs when we leap. We're also going to get a point into Pack Leader so that our minions come with us whenever we're hopping around. We're also going to want to get 3 points into Crater to reduce the mana cost and make the area of impact a little bigger. 2 points into Savage Impact will give us some extra damage and health leech. And then an important one down here, Panther Strike. This is going to reduce the cooldown a bunch. You want that for sure. And then also a point into Hurot's Protection. That'll make us immune while we're hopping around so we don't get shot out of the sky. Frenzy Totem is going to be one of our 2 main buff skills. It's going to increase attack speed for everything around it. So we're going to put 3 points into Rabidity to increase the effect. 5 points into Bestial Frenzy to give us extra damage when affected by it. A point into Furious Cry to refresh our Howl ability whenever we use it. 5 points into Lead the Pack. That's going to give increased critical strike for our minions. Down here we're going to get 3 points into Revitalizing Totem to give us some health regen when affected by it. 3 points into Symbol of Haste. That'll give us and our minions haste when we use it, obviously. And then 1 point into Symbol of Selflessness. This is going to make the totem only affect our squirrels and not us, but that's okay because all we need to do is hit things to buff our squirrels. We don't actually do a lot of damage ourselves. Warcry is going to be our second buff spell. We're going to get 2 points into Deep Roar to increase the area of effect. 4 points into Battle Cry to give us increased crit chance. A point into Ferocity to give us more crit chance plus a chance to cast Warcry when it's on cooldown. We're going to put a point into Yorman's Wrath to make it a Cold Cry. And then I messed up here. Do not put a point into Frigid Breath because we're not going to be freezing enemies with it. Instead, take that point and put it down here into Purging Shout to get cleanse. So we're going to put 2 points into Frostclaw to increase cold damage, and then this important one. Your minions affected by Warcry get increased crit chance and chill chance. So we're going to be spamming this a lot, so that increased crit chance will really help out. Down here we're going to get a point into Juggernaut to get a little invulnerable after using it. 2 points into Breath of Itara for some health some health restore. And then like I said, 1 point into Purging Shout to cleanse. Also put a point into Berserker so you get extra melee damage when you use it, plus more stacks when you attack. Put a point into Staggering Roar to increase the knockback a little bit. 1 point into Shallow Breath will reduce the cooldown a bunch, but make Warcry not freeze. So make the determination of whether you want a Warcry that freezes enemies around you with a longer cooldown, or one that does not with a much shorter cooldown. Also, you're going to want to point in Kinetic Scream for some extra damage, and then 2 points into Eviscerating Howl to just add some bleed stacks on enemies hit by it. Moving on to gear, the only required unique for this build is the Herald of the Scurry Helm. Do your best to slam one with some extra summon wolf levels. It's really beneficial. Other than that, other uniques to look out for are the Doublet of Ono's Toll. This will give you some good extra damage for your minion bleed. Ribbons of Blood is good for some increased health and life leech, as well as protecting your minions a little bit so they can't be crit. And then Dedication of an Erased Primalist gives you extra +1 to all your skills, and it also will let your minions get Aspect of the Spider, which guarantees a slow for them on hit and extra damage to slowed enemies. Other than that, the general stats you're going to want are increased minion health and damage. You're going to want to not neglect your defenses and keep them all high and balanced. And then just look for places where you can get extra attack speed for your minions, extra bleed chance. Pretty simple stuff. For your idols, you're going to want to look for things with increased minion chance to bleed, increased minion attack speed, increased minion bleed duration. You can get increased aspect duration, and then everything else you're going to want to fill in health, armor, any resistances that you may be missing, things like that. As far as gameplay goes, the Squirrelmancer isn't the type of character to sit back and watch his minions attack for him. You're going to be jumping right into the fray and attacking along with your minions. So the general gameplay loop is jump into a pack of enemies with Fury Leap, start attacking with Swipe, use your Scurrying Rage to increase your minions' attack speed, followed by Frenzy Totem and Warcry. The Frenzy Totem is going to refresh the cooldown on Scurrying Rage so you can use it a second time. And then you just start going to town, whacking things, making your squirrels shoot out ghost squirrels from your swipe attacks, and using all of your buff skills on cooldown. And then when you're done, you just Fury Leap onto the next pack. Now the squirrels aren't super tanky, so in higher corruptions or against some bosses, there may be situations where you're going to want to Fury Leap around and reposition yourself so that they aren't stuck in a lot of AoE damage. Other than that, these little guys are quick and deadly. They will pour on bleed stacks easily into the hundreds and just completely chew through anything you come across. I hope you like the build, I hope you make a lot of progress with it, and I hope to see you again for the next one. Thanks a lot, guys.